Any thoughts before we head out of here?
Is Kai Sotto not projected to be drafted?
No, he's supposed to go in the second round as of right now.
Idiots.
Give me one second. I keep getting a call. What? Did you come home in?
What? Oh, is he not talking to me? All right, so
My sister just texted me. She's like called me like 3 times. I'm muting myself. Just run off with this. I got called 3 times.
well, I really think when you start looking into it, I do think Portugal needs to start more textile exports. Kai Sotto. I need to do some research on Kai Sotto. The more into the draft we go since the lottery, the more interested and intrigued I've been about this draft. If you asked me about 6 months ago, I would have said, I think it's interesting. I don't know if this draft will be great, but now it's starting to get a little bit interesting to me. So, yeah, but definitely I'd start exporting more textiles if I'm Portugal. So
You talking about Portugal? My sister just called me because she's like, "Did you come home last night?" I was like, I was like there last night." She just called me about my dog.
Oh, you have a dog?
Yeah, I have a blue pit bull.
Oh,
Yeah, her name's Jasmine. Jazmin. Little cute girl. Yeah. So, I think the NBA draft will be interesting. Either way, I think that's what we have for today. I don't know what else we could talk about right now. I'm kind of lost for thoughts. I think there's definitely way more I could talk about right now. I think if you think about in the NBA draft this year,
I got something for you.
Go for it. I was just gonna go on a tangent.
60 seconds. Give me everything about Kai Sotto.
All right, Kai Sotto. He's the son of 2 former PBA Filipino Basketball Association players. His uncle is considered one of the greatest Filipino basketball players of all time. His dad was okay. He played like a few seasons. And Kai Sotto, he was originally going to play for the G League Ignite, but because of COVID restrictions, he ended up pulling out and then played a season for the NBL on one of the, I think, better teams. And he actually averaged a decent amount of points. And Kai Sotto's 7'3". The Filipinos love him, and the thing with him is he's a guy who looks like he could hit threes, but all in all, what he really seems like he could be is, I think, a very similar player to what people think Mark Williams can be this year, but I think a better shooter. Mark Williams is being heralded as, having the second best measurements since Taco Falls. And Kai Sotto, we don't know his measurements, but he's 7'3". Mark Williams is 7'1" with a 7'7" wingspan. So we can only imagine that Kai Sotto at least has a 7'7" wingspan, being at 7'3". So you just think about Kai Sotto, and also that he played in the NBL. He's a little older. He's a guy, even though he's probably going to be, he might go in the late first, but I really think he's going to be a second round pick that can come in and play day one. He's had over 10 private workouts after being not invited to the NBA Combine.
Embarrassing. I think he's going to be a gem.
I think
he's going to be a gem.
I think so too. Go.
If you're a team like Toronto with that early second round pick,
he doesn't fit Toronto's draft type.
Okay, maybe a better example would be you're a team late first, early second round, and you, no matter what you need, maybe you go Kai Sotto just because of the potential there.
I really want Orlando to draft him, but I could also see the Rockets. I could see the Pelicans. At the same time, I think the team that's going to draft him is a development-heavy team, a team that we've seen develop players.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of that, Toronto Raptors could, because they need the size. But I'm thinking, what if the Utah Jazz trade Rudy Gobert?
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's a trade-off right there. That's interesting.
You get rid of Rudy Gobert, you bring in Kai Sotto. Yeah. You still have Udoka Azubuike.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what those two guys can do.
What did Shaq say? If you're over 7 feet, you should be averaging 25 and 18, 28 and 15, something like that.
I completely agree. I think the problem with a lot of big men today, again, this is why I'm not in the NBA and I'm behind a microphone, but I think they're soft. Again, for me, when I play basketball, being at 6'1", I'm a pretty freaking physical guy because I know I'm not huge and I'm skinny. But imagine if I was 7 foot tall and like 250 pounds. I would be the biggest, baddest douchebag ever. I would literally be throwing wild elbows. I would be imposing my will. If you were smaller than me, I would make sure that you'd have bruises every time you touched me.
I like it.
I just think I agree with Shaq. I just think Shaq is the definition of what could have been the greatest basketball player of all time. And he only tried 60% of the time. Like if you look at Shaquille O'Neal from the day he left Orlando to the day he went to LA, he completely changed his body type. Shaq used to put the ball on the ground and like dribble and like actually like do like spin moves and crossovers and like cross fools up, and was like skinny and had like a military haircut because he was raised by a military father. And then Shaq went to LA, put on, I think it was 100 pounds, and was just like, damn, I can just not even work, like try and still be dominant as hell. Like everyone talks about that Shaq was the greatest waste of talent because he didn't really try. Imagine if he actually tried.
Yeah.
Like, supposedly Shaq was never in shape. He was only in shape in Orlando. So for, I think it's almost 15 years, he was never in shape. He said he played out of shape, overweight for the entirety of his career, except in Orlando.
It's wild.
Yeah. So imagine if he had stayed in shape. Probably career's a little longer, which he said his career would have been longer or like wouldn't have fallen off as bad. But yeah, I love Shaq. But like, you think about
21-year-old Shaquille O'Neal in his second year in the NBA, 29.3, 13.2 rebounds, 2.9 blocks. Oh my God.
And what was his stats when he went to LA?
It's actually not too bad. His first season with LA was 26.2 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 2.9 blocks.
Yes.
Didn't really see a fall off until when he was 31, 2003, 2004. Lost
and then he got
6
sent to
points.
Miami.
Yep.
Yeah, and right here, Thomas Perry said best. As Kobe said, if I had his work ethic, Shaq would have been the best of all time.
It's fair.
That's so true. I mean, Shaq's incredible. Shaq's still awesome, and he's still rich as all hell. But you look at guys like Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond is a double-double machine if he wanted to. But Andre Drummond just doesn't. Andre Drummond literally played himself out of LA. You remember during that run where he'd be like running down the court, like talking to people on the court? Like,
oh, God.
And he'd be like going there. I was like, Andre Drummond, go fucking play defense.
Yeah.
Get back on defense.
He's stupid.
Alrighty.